the table of contents tool in InDesign. InDesign offers a table of contents. We typically abbreviate that as TOC. And what InDesign will do is generate this from information contained in these documents that are part of my book. So those individual InDesign documents added to the book become part of this book. And we want to make sure that then we have what we will look at in a minute here, paragraph styles, because that's how InDesign will build our table of contents. The table of contents is its own document. So I will create a new document based off of the same settings that each of these individual documents are, and including the same paragraph styles that each of these individual documents have. And then InDesign will go ahead and create this table of contents for me. So this is a really nice tool. And what will happen is that all of those elements will be listed in this table of contents along with the pages that they appear in the book. The cool thing here is if this gets repaginated, if I add some more, we can update this. So InDesign will stay on top of updates and page numbers, which saves us a tremendous amount of time. So what we're going to do is start with those paragraph styles. We want to make sure that we have the same consistent paragraph styles between all of the documents in the book. So the best way to make sure that they're the same is to load those paragraph styles. I've already have this started, so let me go ahead and look at recipe 1 here. And we want to bring open our paragraph styles panel. So under the window menu, styles, paragraph styles. All right, let's slide our book up here so we can see this in a little bit more detail. I do want to make note that this is paragraph styles. This does not work for character styles. So make sure that you are utilizing paragraph styles. For the document that I have open right now, I have a recipe title, style, and I have ingredients. And if you notice that when I click here with my text, you can see recipe title highlights. That indicates that's the style that's being applied. If I go into my ingredients, ingredients highlights because that's the style that my ingredients are using. Now this is again stripped down, very basic, so that you can see what's happening here. So with those defined, let's go ahead and open up recipe 2. Double click from the book panel and we can see that yes, I already have those in here. Now if I didn't, what I can do is go under my menu here and load them. When I load a paragraph style, I choose the document that I want to load from, and what will happen is I can check which ones do I want to bring over. So it is so important when we're working with table of contents that things match exactly. So my suggestion would be to create the paragraph style in one of your documents, then go ahead and load it and apply it in the additional documents. And you need to be planning this early on. This isn't something that you will go back after you've got 10 documents created and realizing, oh, I need to make sure all my paragraph styles are the same. Do this from the beginning. Plan this out. You know it's going to be part of a book. Then start right away from the beginning with those paragraph styles defined. So I can load, and it's as easy as that. I'll cancel because I already have them here. Now here's my little shortcut for creating this table of contents document, because that's the next thing now that we need to do is create an individual document. Like I had mentioned, it has to have the same settings as the other documents in the book. So here's my suggestion. Take one of the others, do a file and save as. Typically we call this TOC, table of contents. I'm going to just choose, I already have one, I'll go ahead and replace it. This way, by doing a file save as, I have those paragraph styles already there. Okay, so I probably am not going to need a picture, so I'll delete that frame. I really don't need the title here. I'm going to delete that frame, and I'm going to stretch this up, and I could make this extend to the whole, depending on how we build our table of contents, and I'm going to delete the text that's in there. So now this table of contents here is ready. We'll do a save just to update it. It's ready for my table of contents. Okay, so I have that built. I know it's exactly the same size, has the same styles. We're good to go. We need to now add that. So let's use my little plus here on my book panel, and we're going to find it. It's right here. Click open, and there it is. So we need to make sure that we have this at the top of our list. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it up to the very, very top. With it selected up there, we're ready now to start the table of contents building process. Like I said, InDesign does a lot of the work for you. So we're going to navigate to the layout menu, and under layout towards the bottom is table of contents. This will open a dialog box. So now there are a couple of really important pieces here that you need to make note of. We can get back to this, so we can go back and edit. We can create styles for our table of contents, but that's all after the fact, after we've generated the table of contents. So the important things here to note, number one is the title. We want to have a title here, something that we will want at the top of our table of contents, so you can customize that. Then what we need to do is we need to define what paragraph style we're going to use to pull out our table of contents. So if I look here, it says include paragraph styles. These are the styles now. So these are the styles that are part of my book. I do want to show this indicator here. This is a little icon to the very left in the book panel, and it's to the left. It happens to be on recipe 1. This is the indicated style source icon. Indicated style source icon, and InDesign is regarding the paragraph style in this document to be the master paragraph style, which is probably the case because that was the first one I built and I loaded it in the additional documents. We can change that just by clicking as well. So over here, back to the table of contents, what I need to do is include the paragraph style, and like I had mentioned, it was the recipe title. So I click recipe title to highlight it in the styles that are listed. All of the styles in these documents will be listed here, but I'm going to choose to add this, move it over. So now my table of contents will be built with whatever text has been has the style applied to it. If I wanted to make sort of a hierarchical list where I have the title of the recipe, then maybe some of the ingredients, I could do a subcategory here, and that would just mean clicking an additional style and doing add. It'll be indented, indicating that it's sub of the main. Okay, now here we can choose some styles. This now is going into defining. What I tend to do is don't put any styles here on any of these components quite yet. I can go back and edit it. So I could apply, to my title, I could apply a style if I wanted to. I have one created called TOC title. I could do that if I wanted. You could just, again, leave it blank, leave it neutral at the moment and come back. Now the next very, very important thing that you need to check is to include book documents. For whatever reason, InDesign does not have that default checked, which is funny because if you don't have it checked, it's not going to work. So you want to make sure that you do have that checked. Okay? Just to show there's a more options here or a less options. The more options will give us some specific ways that we can format our table of contents. For instance, you could sort them in alphabetical order. You could put some items between the entry and the number, so you can play around with these things. Like I said, you can come back and tweak this later if you would like. I click OK. What happens is now I have my loaded cursor. So I have my text loaded cursor, and my table of contents is now generated, and I just need to click this loaded cursor in my table of contents document to flow that table of contents data. And there it happens to be. So here in this case, I'm actually using the styles from what I have in the recipes, but you can see this is my main and this is the sub. And all of this formatting can be changed if you want. A couple of methods that I could change it. It is editable text, so I could go right here. Notice I have my styles still. I could play with them right there. I also can go back under layout, table of contents. I can choose a table of contents style. style if I wanted to define a new style or load a style. Okay, so once you understand how styles work, you understand you can do table of contents style, paragraph style, character style, object style, you know, all kinds, table styles, all of those. Okay, and you can still get back into your table of contents here. Same thing as, you know, it's the same way as I left it. So the thing here, though, is you want to make sure that you choose the replace existing table of contents if you're going to do some interesting formatting. Okay, so that's how to build a table of contents. It is a really cool tool in InDesign because it allows us to play with the documents, you know, build this table of contents, but not have to be concerned about the pagination and trying to, you know, hand type all of this. So it's a huge, huge time saver. So those are table of contents in InDesign.